Hello, everyone, and welcome to this amazing celebrating the launch of My Hollow Home on National Eucalypt Day. How amazing is that, Leanne Murner? Welcome.
Thank you, Karen. It's amazing.
And look what just came in through the door, just in time for this launch. My Hollow Home. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous, exquisite. Your words and also the illustrations from Vanessa, who you chose to be your illustrator for book 7. Can we talk
Yeah.
about that, Leanne Murner? Okay. Book 7, you have a 6-book series of children's picture books that you did with the amazing Cat Fox. And now My Hollow Home is really going a bit deeper and into the story and into the learning and really coming from your own experiences. Can you share a little about that?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was doing the first series, they're all based on Australian native plants. The last one that I did was Oliver and the eucalyptus tree. So when I had started to research that, there really just is so much information that I feel would have been wasted just if I was to keep it in the theme of the other series. So when I wrote Oliver and the Eucalyptus, as I was writing it, I just feel that there was just another whole story in there altogether. So that's when this one come out. So while working on Oliver and the Eucalyptus, within 3 hours, I actually had this one written. It just all this information just flooded out. So this one is doesn't have any characters in it, obviously. So it is a story told by the gum tree. So what's it observing that happens within it as well as its surroundings. So this one definitely is something I am very passionate about, and I really feel that children need to learn a lot more about our surroundings, with obviously discovering that how many animals and insects actually need our native plants to survive.
Mhm. And you have 5 curious boys that help fuel those questions that can get answered. That your books actually answer, and I love that. I really, really do. And you found out some new things, didn't you, about the eucalypt tree, in doing some more research. I want to share a little bit about that and why it's so important for these stories to get out, the conversations to be had.
Yeah, it is very important because, like I said, even though I did so much research on this book to put it together, I've actually since discovered as well that for a gum tree to actually become hollow and create the homes for all of these animals, it is 100 years old. So by the time it's planted, grown, has all the dead wood in it to then be eaten out by the termites, to then be able to create a hollow nest, is 100 year span where people going out and cutting down trees, and it's really something that people aren't aware of. To have a tree plant, in my lifetime I would never actually see a tree planted to actually becoming a hollow home. So I just feel it's very important for children as well as adults to be educated
Yeah.
on this.
It's actually our job right now as
Yeah,
adults to nurture the trees that are the 50, 60 years old,
yeah.
so that they can go on to be, and to keep that. Because if that cycle breaks, it really has an effect on the environment, doesn't it?
Well, the video that I watched actually was obviously people that are trying to help, especially the sugar gliders in a particular area. They have been heavily declining. They've got nowhere to nest. If they don't nest, they can't obviously reproduce. So there's a company out there that have just actually made recycled plastic hollows that are actually getting inserted into the trees to help, because there's just nothing in the area that's actually able to create homes for these protected sugar gliders.
We can't have sugar gliders extinct.
No.
We need to make something happen now. It's just amazing. And I have to again reiterate, because I've talked about this before with you, how you honor the process. Like going back to saying you get the inspired thought. You're one of these manifestation people that I adore in my life. I love watching how you make this happen. You don't let things block. Whenever you get the inspired thought, and if you're called to action on it, you just do it straight away.
Yeah.
Like you just sat down and wrote the first draft of this book in 3 hours. you know?
And like I said, it was nearly 6 months ago as well. So I wrote it. I think I messaged you and just said, this just come out.
Yes.
And then I straight away, I already could see what the drawings were. So I was really on the hunt for those really special illustrations to be able to capture the plant as well as all of the animals and insects in the book. And then obviously I'd come across, you had directed me to Vanessa, and her work is just amazing. So the detail in there is really, I think it's really important to capture real life. And the illustrations in this have just been amazing.
We're going to get a little insight into the illustration, but I'm just going to bring Vanessa up because she's here backstage. Vanessa, come join us.
Hello.
Hello, Vanessa. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Used to meet face to face. Yes.
No.
On
No,
Zoom?
Not yet. No.
Zoom, yes.
Oh, yeah, Zoom, yeah.
Okay, good. And this is it. This is the way that it rolls usually with books. But our authors and illustrators work really closely together, and I always really encourage that, instead of me being this thing that keeps, the authors there, the illustrators there, for you two to come together. And this just came, Vanessa, in through the door, so we'll catch up and we'll have a coffee and go through it. But then the magic of this happens, because you end up in this flow. The author's words come to life through the illustrator, and there's this flowing between you, and that's magic whenever that happens. And then books like this come together, it's really very special. Vanessa, what was it like for you whenever My Hollow Home called?
This was a really, really great experience for me because it fitted my style so well. And it was really lovely to work with Leanne as well, like you said, to be able to communicate with her directly and really see what she wanted out of this book and her vision for it. So, and I learned a lot through it as well that I didn't know. But I really loved the whole thing, that it was such a view, a small little view, almost like a micro cosmos, and that I could zoom into what was happening in and around this tree. I found that really interesting, and that really suited my style.
Yeah, and that is I'm sure you've learned from the process, things that you did not know about it. And that's the thing. Whenever I read Leanne's books to my kids, I'm learning something as an adult, like, wow, I never knew that, and it's always fascinating to learn new things and new facts. And I know that Leanne finds these things out because her boys ask these questions, and she ends up going on this, this hunt for answers for them to feed that, and then to deliver them in books for our children to be able to, take that on board, but to couple it up with you, who I knew at the time you were the perfect person for this book, for the detail, and to just connect you both together. I was like, okay, let's watch what happens here. This is going to be magic. But it happened so effortlessly, and you are a very detailed artist, Vanessa, and it can take a lot of time, but this seemed to flow pretty well.
This was such a natural flow. It's very hard to explain because sometimes you work on something and you really get stuck quite a lot. But this one just flowed. It was just as if it was meant to be.
Yeah,
it was. Even Leanne's calling. Leanne, what was it like to work with? Because you had worked on 6 books with Kat very directly and had that vision, and then you worked then closely with Vanessa. I know they're different types of books, but how you had the experience behind you. And I know Vanessa's worked on a few books with me already, but how is it for you, the whole process?
Well, I think with all of my books too, I've had a very clear vision. So I've had a very detailed description to go with each page. So it was actually, because this one sort of wasn't expected and it had just come out, I wasn't really... I'd seen definitely a few of the pages, but it was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. So I had just read like a paragraph under each page of what the illustrations were. And then when we had it, me and Vanessa had a Zoom, and she goes, I can see this. So it was good that she was actually having some visuals to the book as well, which really made it quite easy to work with, Vanessa.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've got the book up here for everyone. You're going to get a sneaky peek. You're going to get a sneaky peek. And Vanessa is just so exquisite at doing birds.
Yeah.
You just look and you go, oh. Here we go. Look at this. Leanne, I'm going to show you at the deep end here. Do you want to read the first page for us?
Yeah, I can't see that far, but I can. Got my book here.
Yeah, if you've got your book.
Yeah.
It's always nice to hear the author read.
I am a gum tree. I am not like any other gum trees. I am quite unique and may look full and solid on the outside, but I can be hollow on the inside. This is not the case with all eucalyptus trees. We start out as solid trees, but when we have an injury, for example, we get struck by lightning, we then become very vulnerable to white ants, or you may know them as termites.
See, I would just stop there because we're not going to go too much into it, but look at even the detail. And look, and it's just so informative, true stories. And to, like, it must have called very loud because in your other books there's characters and you hear the story through, you know, Papa Joe and things like that. But in this, it's the actual gum tree talking, you know, and you talk about it as if that's just how it need to be. You answer the call and honor the call, so you just do it so well.
Yeah, well, the name actually come out first, and that's when I I wrote it down and sort of just went, well, I can't have it my hollow home because I've already got like my Oliver and the Eucalyptus tree. Yeah. And then as I'd sort of just, like I said, just sort of registered to it being my hollow home, it was like the story from the tree was just, I could hear it. So I'm like, nah, this is just, so like I said, I just started to write it and it just flowed from there. So with having all the information already there, it definitely helped with the story because having, like I said, there's not much overlap in between the two books either. Like with Oliver and the Eucalyptus, it talks about the scribbly gum, where we don't even mention that in this one because it's just a tree that is in the forest and talking about its life.
Yeah, and as you can see there, guys, I give you a nice little sneaky peek into the book, and you can see how informative it is, but how detailed it is as an amazing educational tool, and to be a follow-on book from the picture book that is Oliver and the Eucalyptus Tree. You know, it absolutely just ties in together. So, what's our vision, Leanne Murner? What are we going for this one? Where do we want this book?
Oh, this one, I really do feel it just needs to be in every school, just within Australia, especially to start with, because creating the awareness around like thinking, oh, there's a gum tree in my yard, it's just a nuisance, I want to get rid of it, and just cutting it out. I really need people to create awareness around how long's it been there, who's living in it, and actually how much wildlife, marsupials, insects actually rely on that tree. So it's something that really needs to be educated for children as well as adults, which is, like I said, the amount that I've learned now is it really is, until you actually start looking into it, you don't really know the depths of what's happening. And like I said, if we start losing some species of bees or possums, then you've got that effect of something that it may eat, then it creates an abundance of that particular bug. Or so like I said, the amount of endangered animals that are in this as well is really quite scary.
Yeah. It is a reality check, and it's important to have the conversation, and the book can be a vehicle for that. Vanessa, before we let you go, can you tell us how long it took to do the illustrations for this book?
That's a difficult question because I feel like it just went so quickly. I can't, but it didn't. It feels like it didn't. I think it was about 2 months that I worked. Not 8 hours a day, but quite a lot of time. I tend to do the drawings quite big so that I can capture all the details. So one drawing takes me one sort of section of a drawing can take me a good 2 days to do. And then say, for instance, if you look at the front cover, there's like, say, 3 birds. So each bird would take me like half a day, and then and they're quite big, and then they obviously get reduced in size. So yeah, but all in all, it took about 2 months.
Yeah, I think it was about that. Yeah, and like I
Yeah.
said, it was. I think you finished it in October last year, but I really wanted to launch it on Eucalyptus Day, so it's been a very long wait.
Yeah.
It has, and a lot happens, but time's flying by, guys. It's like, what? It's already nearly the end of March 2022. But in illustrator terms, 2 months is pretty fast going for a book, if you think about that. And I know you're totally dedicated to it. One of the things I love about Vanessa is you see the glow from her when she's really enjoying doing an illustration. You can just feel the vibe, and you can see it in the artwork. It's so evident that you love doing these detailed illustrations. It's just beautiful. So I hope that there's more books from you ladies in the future. Vanessa, I'm going to pop you down. Thank you so much for popping in and joining us.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Amazing. Isn't she wonderful, Vanessa? Or
She
Leanne,
is,
it's just
as I said, her work has been absolutely amazing. Like I said, just to and I think on the scale that she was drawing to get all those details, or if she was to draw it quite small, you wouldn't get that detail. So when she actually told me how big she was drawing them, I'm just like, wow, that's a really big picture.
Yeah. We'll have to, when you come to Perth sometime, we'll do an exhibition somewhere with all the illustrations up for everyone to see. I think that would be beautiful. But yeah, congratulations. I know that this was your vision. I just know that the book is exactly what you envisioned it would be. Even, when you said the illustrations have to be detailed, and I just knew whenever I seen it through your eyes, and I was like, but for it to, this is definitely a book for schools and homes, absolutely.
Yeah,
homes.
definitely.
Where, like, I will be reading this to my kids and bringing them out to one of the forest park walks that we have, a children's forest, and they're going to connect with nature and with the forest so much more just by having read this book, because it gives them a deeper understanding and a deeper curiosity for it. So that's just me as one parent. And it gets your kids off their iPads and out into nature where they thrive. They thrive.
Well, that's it. We go camping a lot, and where we go, there is huge, big eucalyptus trees. But last time we went there, I was explaining to my kids how many different, there's over 700 different species of eucalypt trees. So when we were going for a walk, we were obviously, I don't know the name of them all, but we were explaining how some of the bark actually stays on there, and it's quite dark and thick, where then you've got all the other ones that peel off. And then I was explaining about all of the bark that peels off and how many homes that will then create as well for spiders and moths and everything like that. So it's something that we can talk about it every time we go for a bushwalk, and the kids are still learning every single time. So the more obviously you can educate them, it's better for them to be coming up, standing on the bark and actually crushing it, or using it as a stick or something, for them to actually understand that could be something like an insect or a lizard's home. So it's just also creating awareness around destroying the ground vegetation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it just ripples from there. It just is amazing. Okay, so Leanne, let's celebrate the launch of My Hollow Home. And we had to launch today, and it'll filter out online and be available in ebook soon. It's available in print through your website. Where is it?
Yep. Yeah, so it's on fivelittle.bears.com.au under books with all of the other series.
Absolutely. And also on serenitypress.org. And I would love for you to be part of our new website launch festival that's coming up in April. I think that's going to be fun with our new Australiana section. So I think that's just going to create more awareness and create more story and conversations around your amazing collection. So thank you so much for showing up and for delivering all of these amazing books to the world, Leanne Murner.
Thank you, Karen.
All right, bye everyone. Get over to 5 Little Bears and grab your copy today.